Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life According to Nikki. You guys, I'm freaking out. I am absolutely jumping off the walls. Not literally, I am sitting here with my feet propped, but mentally, I'm jumping off the walls, okay? I should be in a padded room right now because I have so many things to say, things to get off my chest, and we need to get into it right now. So cue my intro song.
Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Okay, there was part of me that was like, I think I'm gonna wait to share all of this information until after it's said and done. But you know what? No. I want to look back on this and reflect and see it all happening live. So let me give you the rundown of where my life is right now. My life has been turned upside down. I have no idea which way is up, which way is down. Here's what I know. I know that I'm going to Australia. Here's what I don't know. I don't know how in the hell I'm gonna get there. Excuse my French. I'm sorry, but this is just, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Let me break this down for you. How stressful it is to try and live abroad, to study abroad, to leave the country, to be the cool, fun travel girly, okay? It's not super easy all the time or ever, but this time around, genuinely, it has never been harder than what I am going through right now. So here's where we're at. I sold everything that I own. Okay? It's gone. Bye-bye. Never seeing it again. The only things that I currently have in my possession, which arguably is still a lot of stuff. I mean, how do I have this much crap? It is the things that I'm taking with me to Australia and the things that I need for the next 2 months before I go to Australia. So a lot of my winter clothes and stuff, I'm still needing to get rid of those. And my bed and my chair, those are going to go live in my brother's basement. He doesn't know that, but they are. Surprise, brother! He's going to be getting a call from me. He just has an empty basement just waiting for my stuff. You know what I mean? It seems reasonable that I would choose his place to store it because no one else has space for me. But anyways, that's besides the point. I sold my couches, my furniture that I spent so much money and time painting, making it my own. It was so cute. You guys, I had this pink table with a Mod Podged map, custom made by the way, that I had on it, and the colors were coordinated with all of my picture frames. I painted every single one of them. I also painted my bar stools. I put so much work into my cute little apartment, and you know what? I was kicked out because my landlords wanted to sell it to a family, which sometimes that happens when you're single. You know, it's tough out here. The families get priority on everything. So I was stuck in a little pickle because I was being kicked out of my apartment, but I still need someplace to live for the next 2.5 months. I was just like racking my brain. Like, obviously, I could go live with my parents, but honestly, that's kind of complicated as well because they have no place to store my stuff. They have a bedroom, but like, they live there, and also all of my stuff, my work, my calling, everything is here in Orem. Like, I work in the temple once a week. It would just really uproot my life for the last 2 months, and I was like, and all my friends, I don't want to say goodbye to them early. Well, I was freaking out a couple weeks back, and I was like, I don't know what the freak I'm gonna do because I don't know how I'm supposed to sell all of this furniture, for one, because I need it up until the end of the month. So do I post it on Facebook and then hope that it sells in time? Or what if it doesn't sell? What if I wait and I post it like the week of and it doesn't sell? Then I'm stuck with this furniture. What am I supposed to do with it? But God is so good. There was this girl that, get this, she called into the store that I work at and was asking if we sold stripper poles. My coworker brings the phone to me And she was like, hey, this girl's asking if we sell stripper poles. And I was like, oh, give me the phone. Because mine is not a stripper pole, mine's a fitness pole, okay, people? I'm a church girly, it's a fitness pole. But I'm selling mine. So I get on the phone with this girl and I was like, hey, this is so random. We do not sell them here at the store, but I, myself, the person on this phone, am selling my personal one in my house. Would you like it? And then the girl was like, yes, can I get it tonight? But I didn't get off work until 10 p.m. My coworker hears me tell this girl, no, I'm actually so sorry. Like, I need someone with a ladder to come and bring it down. Because if we all remember, my ministering brother put this up for me, okay? So I need my ministering brother and his ladder to come take it down for me, obviously. Anyways, my coworker was like, oh, like me and my husband, no worries. We'll come, we'll bring a ladder, and we'll take down the pole for you. Like, she's just so kind, standing next to me listening to this phone conversation. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So her and her husband come over at 10:30 p.m. to take my pole down for me. This girl shows up, the sweetest girl in the world. She's looking around my apartment and I was, talking to her. She just moved here, blah, blah, blah. And I jokingly was like, do you want all of the furniture that you see right now? And then she said yes. I was like, you shut up right now. What? She was like, I love your table and your couches match like the couches that I already have. And this coffee table, I want this. And then, of course, I tell her the caveat, like, oh my gosh, this would be amazing, but I actually can't sell you this stuff until the end of the month. I know that's so inconvenient because this was like 3 weeks ago, you guys. Homegirl says, no problem. So I got her contact information. Here's the craziest part of the story. The pole didn't fit in her apartment, okay? So she ended up having to give it back to me. And, of course I gave her money back. But in that one interaction, I sold the bulk of my furniture. And then this girl posted on her story that I was selling some furniture, and then her friend reached out to me and bought some other stuff in my room. So my biggest items that I was just racking my brain, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to sell this stuff? No worries. God got me. I was able to get rid of all of it. I mean, what? So that was great. And that is what I am clinging to when we get to the rest of my story, okay? We're going to start with the positive and be like, oh my gosh, like what a miracle, because it was, okay? And we're not discounting that miracle just because not everything else is a miracle, okay? So we're going to see it and we're going to recognize it and we're going to be grateful for it. And that's what we're going to cling to when I tell you the dumpster fire that has come afterwards, okay? Okay, let me switch gears slightly to give you some background on this whole Australia thing, okay? I was accepted into this Australia program months ago. We're talking like 5 months ago, maybe? It's been a minute since I was accepted into this. And I have been working on getting this crap done ahead of time because I've been in this situation before. I have been applying for a visa in November and it's a freaking nightmare trying with the holiday, with Thanksgiving, with Christmas, with New Year's, trying to get a visa. Do you guys even know what this process is? Let me take you through it if you don't know. Now, of course, every country is a little bit different, but let me take you through Switzerland's. For Switzerland, I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork, which was on their website, but also not super easy to find because heaven forbid it be easy. Heaven forbid these government websites that everyone's going to be easy to navigate. No, that would be way too logical. No, of course they're going to be the dumbest thing. There's going to be no contact information. You will not be able to ask anybody any questions. You're going to have to figure this crap out on your own. For Switzerland, I was on their website. I finally got this page of like, here are your required documents that you need to send to the US consulate or whatever. They are the ones that approve it for the US. For Utah, it was California. So I had to send double copies, mind you, of every single document. They had tons of different things that I needed in this paperwork. You have to have what's called an attestation, which is proof that you are going to be a student at a university because you're asking for a student visa. So you have to have proof from that university that you're going to be a student there, that you've been accepted. That makes sense. So you have to have your attestation, which means you need to contact your school. Like, they have to give that to you. Sometimes you have to have like sponsorship stuff. There's all sorts of different criteria. You have to do bank statements. They have tons of different things. Health insurance. You have to have proof that you've bought health insurance for the country that you're moving to for some of these visas. Like, tons of different paperwork and stuff. And then you have to pay for that all, of course. Then I have to mail all of that stuff to California. California gets a hold of it. Then they talk to Switzerland. They work out on their end. I don't know quite how that works. Then Switzerland, they emailed me and said like, ta-da, you've been approved. So now I had to ship my passport in the mail to California to get my visa put in my passport, and then they have to ship it back to you. And you, of course, have to pay for the envelope that they're going to ship it back. All of this you're paying for. Not that I think that you shouldn't, but I don't know. I just feel like that needs to be stated. Like, this is hundreds of dollars that this costs. So if anything goes wrong, like, whoopsie daisy, now you just have to pay the fee again. So it really sucks if you get it wrong. Anyways, I got my passport back with my visa in it. My visa was wrong, which that wasn't my fault. So then it was like a whole situation, and all of this takes time. This takes weeks. Me sending my stuff to California, that took weeks, all right? For them to say, like, we received it and it's being processed. And then they had to talk to Switzerland. That was another couple weeks. Then Switzerland emailing me back and me having to ship my passport. I got to take all the time to ship the passport, then get that processed, ship it back to me. And you can't really buy your plane ticket until you know that you have a passport with a visa in your hand, can you? So that's also stressful because it's like, okay, when do I buy my plane ticket? Because I don't know when my visa is going to be in my passport. It's very stressful. So all of this is just, that's for Switzerland. I don't even know yet the process for Australia. I haven't even looked because we are so behind on this process, okay? And this is why I'm stressed, because I have been through this and I'm like, this takes so much time. I need to get ahead of the game. So back in August, when I'm being accepted into this program, I'm emailing everybody, figuring stuff out. Okay, how much is everything going to cost? Let me apply for some scholarships. I spend months applying for scholarships. One scholarship in particular, I spent 1 month on. I had to write 11 essays for this one scholarship. So I swear on my life, if I don't get this scholarship, you guys, I worked with the UVU writing lab. I have worked so hard on these scholarships. But these scholarships, you don't find out if you win until next year, until January. But I have to accept my offer by the end of December. Are you feeling my stress yet? Don't worry, it's about to get way, way worse. So, in order to accept my offer, I have to do a down payment of $15,000, which goes towards my first semester of tuition, all right? $15,000 just to accept the offer. Then I can get my attestation to apply for my visa. So I can't get any of my visa stuff done until I pay this $15,000. Well, surprise, I don't have 15 grand just laying around. So I was like, I am going to need to take out a loan. I applied for my housing. I got accepted into my housing. I was like, okay, great. And of course, they make you pay all of this stuff up front. Like, you got to drop like 30 grand for the housing and for the food and for the everything. I was like, okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me get right on that. Let me call up my rich daddy Warbucks and get right on that. But here's where it gets more complicated. When you are going to go study in another country, you can't always use FAFSA, the government funding, for student loans and crap, or just grants and all the things that I would qualify for. Yeah, those are not available for the school that I'm attending, because that would be way too easy. As we've established, it can't be. For whatever reason, God has decided this can't be a walk in the park. This is going to be a very treacherous climb up a mountain. So, I don't qualify for any of the government grants by the US. Okay, awesome. So, I need to take out a loan with a private loan provider. But not all the private loan providers do foreign universities. You also have to have an approved university. I found a loan provider. I asked for my loan amount. I send that off to my school for approval, thinking this is going to be great. You know what? were gonna cry and throw up about the amount that I'm asking for, I literally had to call Kiyana to get emotional support before I asked for my loan amount, because I have always had it be a goal of mine to graduate debt free, and I have tried everything in my power to make that possible. And so here I am, and I'm like, okay, well, that hasn't happened for me yet. And here I am asking for a loan, but you know what? It's gonna work out. I feel it in my bones. Don't know how, but it's going to. But anyways, I apply for this loan and I get denied. So I emailed the school and I was like, could you so kindly tell me why I got denied on this loan? And they were like, yeah, there's this anti-money laundering policy and we can't accept any amount that is more than 1 semester worth of tuition, which means that the highest amount that they will approve is $15,000, which will only cover 1 semester of tuition and not any of my housing, not any of my food, not anything else. Nothing. Only that 1 semester. But get this, the loan providers only do loans per year, not per semester. So I was like, okay, well, what if I ask for a $30,000 loan and then they split it up into the 2 semesters, 15 each semester, because they can withhold it. Okay, fine, and then I'll figure out the rest. Nope. No, they can't do that. But my loan provider, if I ask for a loan for $15,000 for that first semester, and then I go to them in the second semester and I ask for another $15,000, they will not consolidate the 2 loans together. So I would have to have 2 different payback plans, like 2 different payments, one from each loan that I'd be paying back, and 2 different compounded interest rates. That's freaking insane. So I was like, well, that would be so stupid. Like, no, I already don't want to take out a loan. I don't. So I'm not going to take out 2 loans. I'm not a complete idiot. I go back to the school. This is just like a constant emailing back and forth and back and forth. Don't even get me started about the 14-hour time difference, okay? We're going back and forth, and I'm like, I don't understand how in the world students are paying for grad school at your university if you are not approving anything other than 1 semester worth of tuition. Like, does every student that goes here, are they rich? What about your international students? How are they affording this? I literally asked that. And you want to know what I was sent back? I was sent, you can check out our scholarship page. Dude, I can't even express to you the anger that I feel at that. As if I haven't read through every single scholarship offered on that scholarship page. Like, do they even know what's available on there? Probably not, because I can tell you. I could tell you every single scholarship that is available for the university that I applied to, because I have read through every single thing. I have made spreadsheets of information of all the reasons that I could possibly apply to this and could possibly qualify. But guess what? Being a white American middle class, not from a developing country girly, I don't qualify for anything. For nothing. Nothing. And their accommodation scholarship, not even open. And I had an interview with the apartment place that I'm going to be living at, and the dean of admission told me that she would write me a letter of recommendation just based off our interview, because she really wants me to live there and I really want to live there. And I was like, okay, perfect. She's going to write me a letter of recommendation. I'm going to get an accommodation scholarship. That's going to be fine. They're not even freaking open, and I don't know when they're going to be open. But yet I have to pay all of this money right now, like due 2 weeks ago, and I had to pay it. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. I'm emailing back and forth. I'm like, can somebody please get on a Skype call with me? Like, can somebody hop on Zoom? I will stay up till 3 a.m. I need to talk to somebody and understand how we have come to this. How I am being accepted into your school. You want me to go there. And I'm saying, okay, well, you're saying I have to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to go there. Here's a loan that I would like to be approved by you for the money that I need to pay you, and you're not going to approve my loan? So, 2 weeks ago, I had a complete mental breakdown over this whole situation. I mean, genuinely, I don't know what to do. I already sold everything I own, so I'm moving to Australia. That's all I know. I know that God told me I need to move to Australia. Honestly, at this point, don't even know why. Like, I mean, I'm going for a master's program, but like, I could get a master's program anywhere. And I tried. I have looked at other places, but this is the place that I feel like I am supposed to be at. So I'm like, okay, if we have, an equation on the board and we have blank plus blank minus blank plus blank equals Australia, I'm like, okay, I have the answer. Then I've got to figure out how to make the numbers plug in on the other side of the equals to equal Australia. And I'm just going to be so honest. At this point in time, I do not know how this is going to happen. I'm so stressed. I can't even express to you how stressed I have been over this. And I just am crying. I'm just like, okay, God, I don't understand. You're telling me that I'm supposed to do this. I don't get why it's not just falling into place. Wow, this should be like my Sunday episode. But no, I just feel like I need to be honest and express all of the things that have been happening in my life. Well, anyways, a couple weeks ago, I was just so sick to my stomach, so upset. I'm crying. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I'm praying to my Heavenly Father, and I get this visual in my mind. Because as we all know, I love an analogy. That is how my heavenly parents talk to me, is through imagery. So I had this image of me on this path, and it's a really rocky, rough path that I'm on, and there is this giant boulder in my way. Like, I cannot get around this boulder. It was just this image of me with my shoulder pressed up against this boulder, trying to like shove it out of the way, and then like leaning back, putting both my hands on it, pushing with all my might, and me basically throwing a tantrum because I can't move it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so big. It's so large. I'm never going to move this boulder, but I'm trying. I am just pushing up against it. I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm stomping my feet in frustration, and I'm just like so upset about this. It was very clear to me what this meant. I was like, okay, this is what I've been doing. And I had this moment where in this imagery, I stepped back and I looked at the boulder, and I realized this boulder is not moving. It's going to stay. It is going to be planted here. So I can either continue doing what I've been doing, pushing my shoulder up against it, working it at all angles, and trying so hard to get it to move, or I can look somewhere else, look around me, and figure out how to make a ladder. So that's what I decided to do. I took a step back. I was like, okay, here we go. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't push up against this boulder, this big struggle of like, where the heck is this money going to come from? This issue of I have all of this tuition and housing money and things that I need to pay, and I don't have the money for it. That's my boulder right now, and I'm stepping back. I've decided to focus my attention on building a ladder and finding materials. In just doing that, I can't even tell you the relief that I felt. Did anything change, like situation-wise? No. But I just came to this realization that like the way that I am feeling is not healthy. I also don't feel like my heavenly parents want me to feel this way. Like, this amount of anxiety is not from God. It's not. Like, that's the truth. It's just not helpful to me. It is paralyzing me. It is making me so anxious and so stressed. And that is just not what I feel like my heavenly parents want me to feel, you know? I don't think it's designed that way. I don't think that we're supposed to feel that way every time we're going after something right. I think that sometimes, yes, it can be stressful and it can be hard, but that level is not healthy. And you've got to take a step back if that's where you're at right now. You've got to realize that sometimes the boulder won't move. It was never meant to move. It was going to be there the whole time. The only thing that you really have power over is how you're going to look at it and what you're going to do about it now. So I have this like vision or whatever you want to call it 2 weeks ago. And I was like, okay, here we go. I am calling on my heavenly parents. I'm calling on Jesus. And I'm saying, I'm not going to push up against the boulder anymore. That is a choice I'm going to make. So I'm going to need you to show me every single piece around me that will make a ladder, and I'm going to need you to show me how to make it. I then go and I do my temple shift, and I'm in the temple, and I'm just like, okay, where are my parts for a ladder? And I was reminded that there's this girl that I know who has an empty room because her roommate is moving out. And I was like, oh, maybe I could ask her. She lives literally so close to me. And I was like, maybe I can just ask her if I can move in for like 2 months. So I messaged her on Friday. She tells me, I'm going to have to think about it. I was like, okay. So then I commit the next day. Every single time that I have this thought of like, what am I going to do? I don't have the answers. All of those anxious thoughts come to my head. I'm going to have a little mantra of what I'm going to say. And I'm going to respond with, my heavenly parents are aware of me. I have sufficient for my needs. It's all going to work out. And those are my 3 words that I'm going to say. And I'm not going to think about it. I'm not. I'm stepping back. And that's what I did all day Saturday. Is every time I had one of those thoughts, I would pause, take a deep breath, say my little mantra, and be like, okay, it's not my problem. Like, quite literally, hands off the wheel. Like, it is no longer my problem. Because in heavenly parents that set you up to fail, they would not put me on this path just to have me be stopped by the first boulder. You know, like, that doesn't make sense to me, that I would be told this is the path and then sell everything I own to walk it until the foreseeable future and to not look back. And that took a few weeks to get, past that. And this thought of like, well, I don't want to be like Lot's wife in the scriptures and like turn back, and I need to move forward. I can't be held back by all of this stuff. And so I went through kind of that journey last month, and here I am with what I feel like is the clothes on my back, set on this path, and here's this boulder. Like, I don't feel like it's all for nothing. There's gotta be another way. There has to be, because if not, then what? That's the only thing I have to cling on to right now. Is all those other choices felt right, and those other things lined up. Being able to sell my furniture lined up so perfectly that I've got to believe in that. I have to hold on to that miracle. And there was something that I wrote in my phone this last week when I was crying and like going through all of this, and it was this thought that I had where it was, don't throw away everything you can see for everything you can't see. And that is what I've been clinging to. So then I wrote a list of everything I can see, all of the miracles that have been going on to make Australia happen, all of the things that have felt so undeniably right, that I'm going to cling to those things rather than focus all of my energy on being anxious about all of the things that don't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, you have to make a choice of what you're going to focus on, and I switched my focus. So that doesn't mean that it all just worked out, but here's where we're at today. All of this happened. Saturday, I say all my mantras. Sunday, I fast. And I sit down in the pew at church, and my friend turns to me and she says, move in with me. And I started crying. I was like, really? Like, that is such an answer to my prayers. And she said, yes, this is something that you need right now. Like, I'm here to help. Move in with me. So this last week, I cleaned out my entire apartment, sold everything I owned to that girl. She came back over, took all of the stuff. I had some coworker friends that offered to help me take all the rest of my crap to DI because they're angels. All of this stuff worked out, and boom, I have moved out for the next 2.5 months. And I don't know what's going to happen with my financial situation. I genuinely don't. I'm going to need to figure it out really soon. I sent some more emails today, and I'm just praying that there is some sort of option, there is some sort of part to this ladder that I just haven't seen yet, that maybe it's under some brush over there and I need to walk over to it, and like maybe there's a ladder already pre-made. Who freaking knows? Not me. But I'm looking avidly for parts. And this brings me to what I really want to talk about today. Sorry, there's just so much to this story. There's so much. I am sent a text message by my friend Nikki, who you all have met and love. And she sends me this podcast called Abundant Ever After by Kathy Heller. It's a huge podcast. I can't believe I've never heard of it. Well, anyway, she sends me this episode by her just randomly. She just sends me this episode. She was like, hey, I think you should listen to this. I listened to that episode. I listened to 4 more episodes, and they were all just so motivational. They were exactly what I needed to hear. It was all about manifesting and projecting, like what kind of life you want and all of the things that I'm really into. And I was feeling so encouraged after listening to that. I was feeling so uplifted, so light. I was like, okay, renewed strength, I can do this. I decided, okay, let's set some goals. As of a week and a half ago, I had about 11 reviews on this podcast, okay? So I made a commitment that, you know what, I already have a lot of things in my life right now that I'm working on and that I'm doing that maybe I could lean into a little bit more to be successful. One of them is this podcast. So I made a commitment that for an entire week, every single person that I talked to in person, I was going to ask them to rate and review my podcast. And in a week, I almost tripled my reviews, which was just so exciting for me. And listen, in the grand scheme of things, if you look at my podcast, I have like 35 reviews on Spotify. When you compare that to all of the other celebrities and whatever, it's nothing. But I want you to know that I'm not comparing it to any of those things, and that I am so stinking proud that in 6 days' time, I was able to do that. And that I have such amazing friends and people in my life that listen to the podcast and were willing to do what I asked, you know, like willing to help me in succeeding in my dreams. Because I really am a huge believer that there are people all around us that want to help, that are there to help us, that we aren't meant to do this alone. So that gave me a lot of encouragement. I then sent messages to literally every single person that I follow on Instagram whose content I like. Big celebrities, kind of minor ones, but like people that would probably think it's so weird that this rando fan is reaching out to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird of me to do this. But I was like, you know what? I have literally nothing to lose. I'm going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, okay? Because at this point, that's all I have. I have nothing else to go off of. So I send messages to tons of people. And that night, I get a message back from a girl that I know from high school named Briosha. And she's been on a few different podcasts because she lost her son Romeo in a drowning accident. And I have followed her journey of grief. I followed her content from long before the accident to now. Like, I have just really loved her stuff. I've really appreciated what she has put out into the world. I've just been a really big fan of hers, you know? You know those people that you just follow and you're like, if only they knew I'm fans of them? Yeah, that's me with Briosha. Well, anyways, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I would genuinely love to have you on my podcast. And she said yes. And I interviewed her today. And you guys are going to get to hear our interview in a couple weeks. And I'm so genuinely excited about it. It was so beautiful. It was so great. It was something that I've wanted, but I was kind of nervous to like reach out to her because she's so cool and amazing. And she's also been on like way bigger podcasts. So I didn't think that, you know, she would go for something like mine. But she did, and that was so encouraging to me. And 5 minutes before I did my interview with her, I got a message from Gabby Beckford, which, if you have no idea who that is, go look up Pax Light on Instagram. She is a solo travel digital nomad girly. I have followed her stuff for literal years, you guys. Years. I have loved her content. And I sent her this message and she voice memoed me back and said that she honestly gets about 3 offers a day to be on people's podcasts. She's really busy, she doesn't really accept them. But she said yes to coming on this podcast. It just it makes me so emotional right now. Because, just how cool is that? How amazing is that? That me, this girl that has 100 followers on Instagram and 35 reviews on Spotify, she's saying yes to coming on my podcast. And it's something that I'm genuinely passionate about. And I am so excited to interview her and to have you guys listen to that episode. We haven't scheduled it yet, so it's probably going to be a few weeks until that one comes out. But I am just seeing these tiny little things happen in my life, and they're giving me hope. It's a little twig here, it's a little binding over here, and I am trying so hard to make this ladder, to get over this boulder. And I thought it might be helpful to just put that out there, to just be vulnerable and say, I don't have the answers. I do have the answer. The answer is Australia. I don't know how to solve the problem to equal my answer. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm plugging anything in, seeing what it produces, and waiting until my work equals my answer that I've been given. That's where I'm at in life right now. It is a stressful place to be. Let me tell you, it is so stressful. It is not super easy, but I don't know. I just thought that maybe it might be beneficial to have you guys be in this journey with me right now, present day, rather than have me live it out and then kind of reflect back on it, because that was my plan. That was what I was going to do. But I don't know. I was just feeling really prompted today to put it all out there and just express everything about what I've been going through. It's been really hard. Each and every day, I have to remind myself that we're not pushing up against that boulder, because I want to. Oh, I have found myself walking towards it and getting ready to push, and I'm like, no, you can't do that anymore, because it's never gonna move. So you gotta move on. You've gotta figure something else out. And I believe in heavenly parents that provide other ways to do things. And so that's what I'm trying to focus on right now in my life. I am focusing on all the miracles that I can see, not the things that I can't. And I'm really excited to see what doors open, what opportunities happen. I'm excited to see where this podcast goes. It would be just amazing, incredible, my dream come true if this podcast could be picked up by some sort of network. Someone could listen to this and believe in me, believe in my vision, and believe that this could be successful so that I could make some money while I'm abroad. Wouldn't that be amazing? There's just so many things, and there's scholarships that I've applied for that I hope, I am praying that I get and that I win. But that's what's so tricky about all of this is the scholarships and stuff that I applied for. I won't find out about one of them until January. The next one, I don't find out till March. I can't even apply to 2 of them until after classes start. What sense does that make? It makes no sense. It is absolutely infuriating. But that's the way that it is. Sometimes that's how life is, I think. It doesn't make any sense. And I think at this point, I just maybe haven't talked to the right people. And I'm just hoping that the right people get placed in my path, the right tools are placed where I need them to be, and that I can figure this all out. So thank you for joining me as I do this, as I try my best to make it to Australia, because that right now is my goal. That is where I'm at. If you're the praying type, I would love it if you could just name drop me. That would be great. Yeah. I don't know what more to say on this, except that I know that it's gonna work out. I have almost no evidence that it will. Truly. But at the same time, I have so much evidence. If I look in the right places, I do. I do have the evidence. I don't think on paper anyone would see it as, quote, enough evidence, unquote. But it's what I have. It's what I have to look at. It's what I have to go off of. And above all else, I just have to go with this feeling deep in my heart that this is where I'm supposed to be, that I'm on the path I'm supposed to be on, that I can't look back, and that there's something here for me, something to learn, and there's gotta be something on the other side of that boulder. I have to believe that. So if you have, any words of wisdom, feel free to give them to me. If you have any questions about, like in the next week or so, like what's happening, what's going on, don't ask, because the answer is I don't know. I don't know. But thank you all for listening to me just rant and tell you about where I'm at in life. Oh my gosh, you guys, I totally forgot. Remember when I was going on my rampage and like reaching out to all of those influencers and all the things? Yeah, I also reached out to a bunch of companies that I'm obsessed with, and I asked for affiliate codes. And you guys, one of them messaged me back. Also, one of them turned me down, okay? I don't want to say which one because I don't want to promote them anymore. No, I'm just kidding. It's Salt Diva Cups, okay? So now I'm like, okay, great. I need to switch to another Diva Cup to promote some other Diva Cup because I'm so converted to Diva Cups. It's not even funny how much I love them. But now I'm like, Salt didn't want me. Lame. But you want to know who did want me? Cakes. Cakes wanted me. Have you guys heard of these? These are nipple covers. Okay? They are amazing. If you want to look them up, don't Google it. Okay? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to my Instagram and you're going to click on my affiliate link because I got one from them. They were so sweet in their message. So I have an affiliate code. You get 10% off if you use my code. All of the information is on the Instagram. And please, I'm begging you, use my link, you guys. Just support me. If you have been debating these nipple covers, girl, freaking run. Run to your phone. Run to that keyboard and run to that Apple Wallet because it is amazing. So I got them because, as we know, I am anti-bra right now. And I vented about it a few weeks back about how I'm like, I don't know what to do about the whole no bra situation because it like looks like I'm not wearing a bra, but I don't love that. But I also am hating bras right now. Well, Cakes came up on my feed. They've been on my feed for freaking forever. And finally I was like, fine, I will do it. I ordered them. They do not have adhesive, so they're not sticky. I don't actually understand how it works, how they just like stick to your body, but they make it look like your breasts have shape to them, okay? It doesn't look like I'm not wearing a bra. I think a female could tell that I'm not wearing a bra. No male is ever going to notice that I'm not wearing a bra. Completely covers the nip. Okay, completely. It's also like tapered. They're big. They have different sizes. They have different colors. They have different tapering. They have different shapes too. You can get like a triangle one. You can get a circle one. I have the circle ones. And they work so well. And then you just rinse them off at the end of the night. They're so easy to clean. They just pop right back on. They don't smell. Nothing. I'm really genuinely excited to test them in a hot environment to see how sweating works with them. So I will keep you updated on that. But as of right now, in the winter, I am thriving. I'm also thriving because they stay against my body perfectly. I have had zero issues with them trying to fall off or unsuctioning or whatever you want to call it. Like, no. I put them on and they stay on. I don't understand the science. I don't get how it works, but I love it. And you should all go buy this product. And you should use my affiliate link to buy them. Okay, please and thank you. So that's exciting news as well. I will let you know if any other companies that I reached out to get back to me because I have so many products that I'm so into. I'm also trying to figure out how to do an Amazon storefront because I have so many of like my travel products that I've talked about, just different things that I genuinely love and highly, highly, highly promote that are not sponsored, but like I would love if you would click on my little link and then maybe I could get a little compensation. That would be amazing. That'd be so incredible for me because I already want you to get them. So now if we can both be rewarded, you by getting the product and me by telling you about it and maybe getting a little bit back, that would be amazing. So that is coming soon, very, very soon. And I think that's all the announcements I have. To end today's episode, we are just going to go with an audio recording of me and Kiyana in my car after watching the movie We Live in Time. Because you guys need to hear our review on it, okay? It's amazing. It's a 10 out of 10. I freaking loved it. So to end today's podcast, I will leave you with our words. Thank you for listening. You guys are so great. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your support, and thanks for being just on this journey with me. Let's not know how to do things together, okay? Let's look for parts to our ladder, stop pushing up against the boulders that won't move, and let's see what we can make, okay? That's what we're gonna do for the next 2.5 months. I'm really excited to look back on this episode and do a follow-up episode and be like, guys, it all worked out. It's all amazing. Like, look what I built. Look at this ladder. I'm really excited for what the ladder's gonna look like and how it's gonna come together. You know, as always, I will keep you updated. But for now, these have been my thoughts on life, and these are gonna be mine and Kiyana's thoughts on We Live in Time.
Oh, okay. If you can't tell, we have been in tears for 2 hours.
Straight. Just sobbing. Not a trickle.
It wasn't like 2 moments of teary-eyedness.
No.
It was
It
full cry. Yeah.
Multiple tissues. I went through 6 tissues.
Like, try not to breathe so hard it's distracting to other movie viewers.
What did we watch?
We Live in Time.
Okay, starting off, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And bumped to the top 2, if not my favorite movie ever. I will be watching this until the end of time.
I think that's my number 1 now. Bumped up to my number 1.
Deservedly so.
Well, let's chat about, like, the plot.
Yes.
We can talk about acting and then the filming. Go for it.
Okay, so the plot, honestly, I feel like the trailer shows the plot really well without spoiling it, which is a problem, an epidemic, really, of our day, of these trailers showing way too much information and ruining it. This one, I didn't feel that way. But the plot is just this couple, and it goes through their life as a couple, starting with how they met, and then ending, you know, with, like, just how they work together as a couple, but it's not told in chronological order.
It's not chronological.
Yeah.
I saw one preview, so I didn't even know. I knew it was about their life together, but that's all. I would
So
say
you didn't know it was going to be this emotional?
I knew that there was going to be, like, teary-eyed spots, because someone that's married and very happy with my little family. I was like, I'll get emotional, but I didn't think it was going to be, like, everything.
Like sobbing for 2 hours?
2 hours.
And first time when I had tears in my eyes crying was no less than 4 minutes in.
I was gonna say, I was like, Nikki's gonna think I'm a sap, cause
Oh,
and
girl.
then I looked over, she was crying already. I was like, okay, it's not just me 5 minutes in, like.
No, I already had tissues out. Like,
Yeah.
I brought an entire pack of tissues because I knew I was gonna cry. But I didn't realize the extent. I thought, like you, I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry at the end.
Yeah.
5 minutes in, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the whole thing, is
Yeah.
I'm gonna be crying.
I actually cried less at the end than I did in the middle,
Really?
for me.
Okay, yeah, well, because you're drained.
Well,
By the end.
you're drained by the end, but also okay, so let's talk a little bit without trying to give stuff away.
Yeah, no spoilers.
It's the infinitely better version of The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't even put those in the same camp.
Yeah,
I hate Fault in
no.
Our Stars personally.
But there is cancer involved.
Yes, which is very evident in the trailer. Like,
Yeah.
they show you that in the trailer.
And I did not see a trailer where they highlighted that. I mostly saw her, like, holding her baby and them just, like, laughing together.
Oof.
So I did not notice any of this had cancer in it.
It is a cancer movie.
They portray life events how I feel like they really feel.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of movies, when sad things happen, they make you feel more depressed. Which, I'm not saying people don't feel those things, because mental health, right? But for me, when sad things happen, there's usually a happy opposite at some point in your life, and you know what sad and happy feel like, and I feel like sad movies tend to focus on the sad.
Yeah.
And this one, I wasn't just wallowing in sadness the whole time. There was equally matched high points to the low points.
And even in the low points, it felt so realistic to how that scenario would actually play out.
Yeah.
Where you're having, like, the most devastating news of your life, but at the same time, like, your tummy rumbles. You know what I mean? Like, you have these moments of like where you're brought back into like just, it was so realistic. I felt like I was them. I also felt like I was in the room with them and just like observing. It was amazing to see yourself reflected, but also you just felt like someone was like documenting two people's lives in the most beautiful cinematic way possible.
It was like watching people actually have real reactions.
Yes. It felt so real.
Okay, segue into their acting. First of all, Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh are two of my top favorite actors ever.
Same.
I've always liked their acting because they come off very genuine to me.
I agree.
And they're not like larger in life. They're not putting on a show. They're like, how would I really react to this situation? And this is the epitome of their talent.
If Andrew Garfield, if he does not win an Oscar from this, what would they give away Oscars for? Like, genuinely, that's what had me crying in the first 4 minutes, was his micro expressions. I could read his mind. I could read everything that he was saying, and
He said everything with his body language.
With his face, he really didn't say that much in a lot of these powerful scenes. They didn't have much dialogue, and that to me is what made it so incredible. Was you knew exactly what conversation they're having in their, like, with their eyes, with their faces, what he's thinking, what she's feeling. Like, you didn't need dialogue for that, and I think that only incredible actors can do that.
It is the most healthy form of a heterosexual relationship I have ever seen portrayed. And their communicating was direct.
Yes.
Without being abusive. It was like, this is what's happening. And when there were points of friction, they talked about it and there was resolution. And the healthiest way I've ever seen sex portrayed, the healthiest way I've ever seen deciding big life decisions. And I was sobbing a lot because I saw a lot of reflection with me in my relationship with my husband, and also learned some things to take home. Because no one's perfect. Me and my husband will be buying this movie. People don't buy movies anymore, but I'm buying it.
For me, there was like a scene where they were fighting, and when that scene was done, I turned to Kiyana sobbing and was like, did they consult marriage therapists or like relationship coaches? Because I felt like I just got like a guidebook of how to have an argument.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like how to apologize and mean it, but also like how to take accountability for what you have done and not let the other person just like be scot-free either. Like, you did something to hurt me. I took accountability for my participation.
Andrew Garfield's talent. First of all, whoever wrote the script
deserves every award out there.
I leaned over to you and I was like, that is the first time I have seen an argument in a movie portrayed in a non-toxic way.
Yeah.
Because they had an argument, but it wasn't a fight. They were yelling at each other, but they were able to feel what they were feeling and express it, and still admit where they messed up.
Yeah, and acknowledge where the other person was coming from.
And validate the other person all at the same time.
I feel like therapists are going to use this movie from here on out to demonstrate, especially between couples, how to communicate.
They better. I don't even... And they didn't shy away from the more private times in life, like giving birth.
Yeah, that scene was phenomenal.
The only thing I think they should have gone into before the scene ended was that after you give birth to a baby, you also give birth to a placenta. But it was just, here you are having a baby.
And there is something about, if you're gonna not do a chronologically correct order in your scenes, that's hard to do and allow your audience to still know where you're at and to not get too caught up in wanting it to be in chronological order. Because at first I was like, I like an order to things, but the way they did it just made me feel, I mean, the movie's called We Live in Time. That's what I felt like. I felt like you just did a timeline and then you like zoomed in on one point and then zoomed out and then zoomed in here and zoomed out and zoomed, like.
Well, and I don't know how they did it, but it felt like, I'm thinking about it now, and I feel like it was chronologically told and it was not.
Yes.
How did they do that? If you listen to Nikki's podcast, everyone knows I have ADHD. When people jump between timelines and they are not explicit as to where in the time this is or where they're at or who you're talking to, I'm lost. Like, we went and saw Tenet.
Oh, I bet that was a mess.
lost. I was like, what happened? There's so many plot holes. And Bridget's like, no, the music was just like blaring in your ear, and the lady said one line that explained the timeline. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna catch that. This is my new favorite movie. And last week I thought I saw my new favorite movie, so it's...
What'd you see last week?
I saw The Wild Robot. Now, it's getting mixed reviews because it's meant for children, but if you have kids, it hits different. So I've talked to people who don't have kids and they saw it and they're like, it was okay. And then I talked to people who have kids and they're like, oh my gosh, I sobbed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, and that bumped to like my top 10 and not my number 1. But I was like, I didn't think I could see such 2 good movies in 1 week span. But this is, I'm gonna be thinking about it for a month.
I want to rewatch it already. Bring tissues. Do not wear makeup. I specifically did not put on mascara because I knew I'd be crying. The extent to which I did cry, had no idea that it was going to be that much.
We didn't know.
I knew I was going to cry, but wow, sobbing.
Okay, really quick about the filming. First of all, it's a beautiful movie.
I'm a talker during a movie, okay? This is why we go and see movies at 10 a.m. when no one's in the theater so I can talk to my friends while it's doing
I also don't mind the talking. So.
Yes, and I'd love to make a comment. So anyways, it's in the first like 5 minutes, there's this shot of Andrew Garfield waking up. It holds on the shot and I turned to Kiyana and I was like, that right there, that is gorgeous. Whoever filmed this, I can already tell, is a genius because of the lighting, the tone in which they had the filters on,
well,
the
and
way
even how far away you were from the subject.
It was incredible. And the fact that they just did this long held shot, wide screen, I was like, that is a gorgeous shot.
And in that 5-second hold on it, you're like, we don't know what's happening yet. I had 100 questions in the first 5 seconds, and then you're intrigued. Like, I've never watched just a still frame and been like, what's gonna happen? Other than a horror movie, and I don't like those, but
Yeah, that is so true. And then every additional character, which there weren't that many, okay? The majority of this film is just those 2.
and extras.
But anybody who was there brought so much endearment. Just
Andrew Garfield's dad.
Oh, it was so tender to see these different types of relationships, these snippets of these other relationships, even though you're focused in on their core relationship and the journey of that, these other relationships that they do have of friendship and of parental relationship is beautiful.
This movie is all about relationships. I'm attached to every single person in that movie.
Yes.
It was real, it was realistic, it was genuine acting, and the storytelling is genius. I don't even know what to say.
The only equivalent that I have like seen, not in film, I have not really seen anything quite this beautiful in film, is This Is Us. If you've ever seen that show.
Yeah.
If you like This Is Us, or if you watch this movie and you loved what this is about, I feel like This Is Us is what you need to watch next, because those are the only things that have made me feel this way. Is beautiful. Story of us as
And
people.
watching real people make real decisions.
Yes.
It
Hard
was-
decisions too.
I think that's a good comparison, This Is Us to this movie. This Is Us is meant to be soap opera-y, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But this is not.
Anyways, moral of this story today. Go watch We Live in Time. My personal rating, that was a 10 out of 10. No notes.
I think general public, there's going to be people who hate it because they're soulless, but
8.5 out of 10 for the public.
8.5.
Then. Sure. But
Yeah.
personal, 10 out of freaking 10.
blown away. Just
Yeah.
blown away. Just the filming told a story. The
The soundtrack. The soundtrack was
the soundtrack.
beautiful. And it wasn't too loud. Okay? There's like one scene in particular where she's like just with herself contemplating. You can tell she's like really going through it. You can read her mind. Her facial expressions are beautiful. And the music is this soft undertone rather than being this overpowering thing where it's telling the story. They're allowing her and her facial expressions to tell the story with this like soft music underneath it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like most shows, they sometimes overdo the music, and this one, it was an assistant in telling the story rather than telling it just from the music alone.
Yeah. Yep. Nothing was unnecessary.
Yeah, it
Or
explained
confusing.
Explained everything that needed to be explained, and then those things that you didn't need to know the details of, you didn't have them, and you were okay with not having them.
Yeah, and we don't even know how it really ended.
Yeah,
And it
was
doesn't
so
it doesn't
beautiful,
leave
yeah.
you on a cliffhanger, but there's a big moment at the end, and we don't know.
no, we don't know,
We don't know.
which I think is beautiful about it all too, because it was this whole like, we don't know in our own lives of like what's gonna happen, how things are gonna play out. You're just making the best decisions with the information that you have, and you're doing your best with another imperfect person, and I feel like it showed that beautifully.
Yeah, it was about relationships, so they didn't give you answers for everything. Loved it. And I'm finally like looking a little bit more normal.
Whew. Yeah, no, my eyes be swollen.
Go watch the movie.